The obligation is going to be met. Yes, it's true. Okay, you did your job. But we all know what bosses are looking for.
Some answers, and we get the rematch.
We won't. I'm sorry.
And the rematch, he'll be able to prove himself.
Stephen A. Smith is calling on GervontaDavis to sign the contract for a rematch with Lamont, emphasizing that real champions go beyond just meeting basic obligations. He argues that boxing is about making an impact, generating revenue, and drawing strong ratings, not just doing the bare minimum. Smith says Davis needs to step up and show he's truly a top name in the sport by making the fight happen.
Yes, it's true. Okay, you did your job. But we all know what bosses are looking for. They're looking for the exceptions to the rules, not the rules. You want somebody that's about having an impact, that's about making sure that it's felt.
Smith highlighted that Davis is pursuing this rematch to prove his place in the boxing world and clear up any doubts from their last fight. Even with various career paths available as he nears retirement, Davis's push for a rematch shows his focus on securing his legacy. He's already shown interest in facing Roach again, a move that reflects his determination to settle any unfinished business and his readiness to step back into the ring with him.
Wipe the team right back. I'm believing him. I didn't see him hurt or anything like that. I get that part. I saw him hurt when he got popped with a counter from Lamont Roach and he stumbled backwards because he got hit with a shot while throwing a punch in an earlier round. So I'm certainly not going to do that. Here's the important point to mention. All of us got to stand down and give Lamont Roach an apology. I thought that brother was going to get beat down because I saw a dude that was a bantamweight champion. I said, why are you moving up to fight this guy? Why is GervontaDavis taking this fight? This guy's too small. What the hell is going on? He was a featherweight champion. You're a lightweight. What the hell is going on? Why would you take that fight? I didn't understand it. What I didn't know is that once Lamont Roach stepped into the ring, he would be the bigger fighter. What I didn't know is that once he was in the ring and he looked like the bigger fighter, he fought like the bigger fighter because, ladies and gentlemen, from opening bell, he walked right to GervontaDavis. Walked right to him and stayed in his face all night long. If he backed up at all, ladies and gentlemen, it was 5% of the time.
In their first matchup, Lamont Roach impressed many with his toughness and skill. He went head-to-head with GervontaDavis, handling the pressure well by taking punches and firing back effectively. Roach's strong defense and quick counters caught the attention of boxing fans, proving that he's a serious and worthy opponent in the ring.
What I didn't know is that once Lamont Roach stepped into the ring, he would be the bigger fighter. What I didn't know is that once he was in the ring and he looked like the bigger fighter, he fought like the bigger fighter because, ladies and gentlemen, from opening bell, he walked right to GervontaDavis. Walked right to him and stayed in his face all night long. If he backed up at all, ladies and gentlemen, it was 5% of the time. The other 95% of the time, he walked right to GervontaDavis. GervontaDavis caught him with some good shots. He took it and then gave it back. Body punches, counter punches, left hook, straight right. This brother Lamont Roach can fight. And he's beautiful defensively as well. And seemed completely unfazed and undeterred by Tank Davis, a knockout artist.
Lamont Roach smartly added a rematch clause to his first fight contract, making sure he'd get an immediate second chance if he lost or the fight ended in a draw. This move showed not only his confidence, but also his determination to prove himself again if necessary. By thinking ahead, Roach protected his shot at redemption, highlighting both his smart business sense and strong belief in his boxing skills.
I just so happen to be a boxing fan that the fact that I do watch him fight, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really like boxing.
Are you open to immediate rematch?
In my contract, immediate rematch was signed. I signed for the immediate rematch when I signed for the first fight.
Right.
Just in case he lost or just in case it was a draw.
So when you got a rematch clause, how long will you take it?
It's up to the A side and when they want to fight. So I'm thinking it's going to be soon. I'm hoping it's going to be soon. Let's say that.
What is soon to you? When you say soon to me, I'm thinking a month.
I'm thinking July.
I'm thinking July for sure.
Respected boxing analyst Teddy Atlas has emphasized the need for a rematch between GervontaDavis and Lamont Roach, saying their first fight left too many questions unanswered. However, he's doubtful it will actually happen, pointing to a lack of accountability over the referee's calls as a major issue standing in the way of a fair second bout.
We know the
Breakdown by
answers.
you. Yeah.
I think we know the answers. I think we know the answers, unfortunately.
But we need the rematch, and we'll get it. But I touched on last night during the live stream. It's the great Angelo Dundee with Ali when he couldn't see and he was blinded. He didn't say go out there and call a timeout, take a knee. Go and run, move until you can see. And just to be able to go out there and call a timeout, you know, it's like being in the schoolyard. Oh, do over. Unbelievable. This has to be addressed. This can't just continue. This referee must be sat down and reprimanded. And hopefully we get some answers and we get the rematch.
We won't. I'm sorry. I'm terrible. I am, but I'm ashamed of myself. I am so cynical. But this sport has made me cynical. I'm sorry. I don't see anyone's going to reprimand this referee. I don't. What are they going to do? I mean, it happens too often. It's happened too often. I don't know. We need a national commission. That's the only thing I could think of, but we're not getting one right now. But the last thing I want to say to put a bow on this one, Bud, we talked about the controversial part, but I want to finish with the great part. That was high-level boxing. That was two guys at the highest level showing their skills.
Teddy Atlas has voiced strong criticism of today's boxing scene, saying that fame and influence often matter more than actual skill when it comes to deciding fight outcomes. He's frustrated by what he views as unfair or rigged decisions that put money and promotion ahead of the sport's integrity. According to Atlas, this trend is damaging boxing's authenticity and letting down loyal fans who care about fair competition. His concerns highlight a growing debate over how credible and honest the sport remains today.
What are you going to do? I love my sport that I've been in for 50 years. I hate what people do to it. I hate it. I don't hide that. I love the fighters. I admire the fighters. I try to defend the fighters the best I can. But that was appreciated by me. To see, I appreciate Floyd Mayweather. I appreciate Sugar Ray Leonard. I appreciate, all those great fighters.
Many boxing analysts and fans believe Gervonta Tank Davis would score a knockout in his first fight against Lamont Roach. Known for his power and aggressive style, Davis was expected to take control early and end the fight quickly. But as the match went on, Roach showed impressive toughness, taking Davis's shots and landing solid counters. This surprising performance defied expectations and left many shocked. With no knockout, questions were raised about Davis's game plan and whether Roach had revealed weaknesses in his style. In the end, the fight sparked more debate about the true level of both fighters.
I expected to see a knockout. I expected to see it come at the hands of Gervonta Tank Davis against a dude that I thought was undersized, that I thought was not on the same level. And my God, was I wrong. So I thought it was apropos that on this particular day, more than a week after Lamont Roach showed up at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, and let everybody know, yo, I'm no joke either. Y'all don't know who the hell I am. I'm here to reintroduce him to the world. A guy that many believe should be the lightweight champion of the world in the sport of boxing. The one and only Lamont Roach joins me right now.
After the fight, GervontaDavis seemed unsure about a rematch with Lamont Roach. He hinted at exploring other opponents instead, suggesting that his next matchup might feature different challengers. This shows the wide range of options Davis has as he looks ahead in his boxing career.
The plan was I was going to call out someone in the ring, and then the journalists are like, well, who? I can't say. Well, who are you going to call out? Well, you saw he was in my locker room. And then everyone starts doing the math. The only fighter that came in the locker room of GervontaDavis was Jake Paul.
Oh, Jesus.
Jake Paul was in attendance. Jake Paul was in attendance with his business manager, Nikisa Badarian.
Yo.
Do the math there.
Tank has taken losses all over the place. He didn't lose in the ring, but in terms of his profile, in terms of things he's saying, in terms of how he looks, he's taken losses.
I'm just gonna say, man, like, I like Tank Davis. I have a nice working relationship with him, but you cannot deny that his image took a hit, and you know what it showed to me, Chris, is like every dog has its day, not in a good way. Like, he's 30-0 heading into this fight. He's the man. He's the #1 ticket seller. He's a pay-per-view attraction. He knocks everyone out. He puts freaking butts in seats. That place was full to the brim. With
Like
weed, I was
sardines in
high.
there.
Weed smoke. I was stoned. Were you stoned Saturday night? I was a little stoned.
Yeah, I had a headache driving home.
And maybe that has something to do with me walking out of there. But the hate that came out immediately after from fighters, Devin Haney, Teofimo, Shakur, to everyone, Berlanga, to fans who have been just waiting for this moment.
Bud chimed in too.
Well, Davis has talked shit about literally everyone too. Like, Davis was on his perch, as like this PBC guy who is
Gets
just
paid, who puts butts in seats, who knocks everybody out,
and it was warranted. Like, Davis was the man. He's knocking everyone out, and you're selling out. What more can you do in this sport? Like, that's the name of the game: make money, knock people out, fame, notoriety, and all that. So the minute he was going to slip up, and no one thought it was going to come in this fight against Lamont Roach. The minute Tank slipped up, you knew that everyone was going to come out with their pitchforks. Everyone was going to come out with their knives.
Boxing analysts are firmly backing a rematch, saying Lamont Roach deserves a real shot at a clear outcome. They believe the first fight left too many unanswered questions, making a second bout essential. A rematch would give both Roach and GervontaDavis the chance to prove who the better fighter truly is, putting all doubts to rest and settling the debate once and for all inside the ring.
And I concur with Dan Rayfield. A win taken away from Lamont Roach in such a big moment changes so many things. He deserves this win, and I feel like they took it from him.
Chris, rematch in Brooklyn. Let's run it back. I want to see it again. I was there. It was
Brooklyn.
The energy was great in there.
What about Vegas? Less taxes.
Well, that's
Brooklyn,
that's a good
the
point.
scene of the crime. Go back to it and
They take a lot of taxes in New York.
Yeah, I want the justice in the room.
Well, thank you. Justice in the same state would be absolutely fantastic. Don't forget Lamont Roach Jr. joining us later in the week to discuss this fight, his thoughts on it, his emotions, his feelings. It's all right here on Pro Box TV. Find out when millions are watching.
Boxing commentator Showbiz believes that GervontaDavis, as the more skilled fighter, would make the right adjustments in a rematch to earn a clear win. His view highlights the strategic changes both fighters are likely to bring if they face off again, making the potential rematch even more intriguing.
As far as the rematch, Gervonta versus Lamont Roach, who do I got? I got Gervonta, and possibly by knockout.
Fuck Showbiz.
There's a lot of people that say that wasn't really quite GervontaDavis. Me, on the other hand, I think Gervonta needed his ass whipped. I think victory was defeating Gervonta. Gervonta's been doing the same damn things, thinking, okay, this should beat you. I'm gonna collect the data, then I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna turn up. And Lamont was ready for all that shit. What I'm saying is, I think Gervonta is a greater fighter than Lamont Roach. And I think Gervonta is going to make those adjustments. Now, I know I brought up Roy versus Tarver. And Lamont Roach can definitely look at Gervonta and say, any hair grease in your eye tonight, Tank? He can do that. And I think that'll be classic. But you could compare it to the Montel Griffin fight, right? The first fight, Roy and Montel, they were going at it. And Roy kind of figured him out later. The second fight, Roy just blew him out. Tank, he can do that. So, I got 800 again on Tank to knock him.
Reports indicate that the rematch could take place as soon as June 21st, showing that both fighters are eager to get back in the ring and settle things quickly. This timeline highlights their determination to clear up any doubts and prove who truly deserves the win.
The Gervonta Tank Davis and Lamont Roach Jr.'s rematch is set for June 21st. Now, I spoke about this the other day that this rematch could be happening in June, and look like that's what it's going to be. Now, Lamont Roach, in order to beat Tank, he's going to have to do a little bit more than what he did the last fight. He either has to knock Tank out or do more than what he did the last time and make sure Tank doesn't do more than what he did last time in order to get the victory against GervontaDavis. Now, GervontaDavis still has a 0 on his record. He now has a draw on his record against Lamont Roach. So hopefully this fight really goes down in June. It's supposed to be June 21st in Las Vegas, the rematch. Many want to see because many thought that Roach won the fight and the knockdown should have counted, which the knockdown did not count. It is what it is. So we got to go back in there and see if we can do a little bit more, stay focused, and get the victory. Or same thing goes to Tank. You know, Tank got to prove to the people that Roach is not better than him and Roach is not on his level. That's up to Tank Davis. We don't know if Tank just wasn't focused that night or Lamont Roach really has his number. I'm looking for Tank to maybe finish the fight this time, but to be honest, I don't think that Tank will be able to knock out Lamont Roach like he's been knocking out his opponents in the past, because Lamont Roach was taking some of his best shots. Some people think that because these two guys are friends, Tank didn't want to knock him out. And Tank said after the fight that he could have did a little bit more. So with that being said, maybe there's some truth to that, and maybe there isn't any truth to that. But we will find out on June 21st in Las Vegas. So be on the lookout for that. Who do you expect to win in this rematch? Holla at your boy.
In the highly anticipated rematch, Lamont Roach is expected to adjust his strategy to better counter GervontaDavis' strengths. On the other hand, Davis will likely enter the ring with a sharper focus on defending his title and avoiding the mistakes he made in their first fight. That bout ended in a draw, sparking debate among fans and analysts over who really won. The controversial result has only increased the demand for a rematch to finally settle the score.
Yo, fight fans, did you catch that Gervonta Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach bout? Talk about controversy. The judges called it a draw. But let's be real, a lot of people think Roach got robbed. Both fighters brought their A-game, showing off some serious skills in the ring. Roach was on fire, landing clean shots and outworking Tank in several rounds. But Tank had his moments too, showcasing that explosive power we all know. But Tank going on one knee or being wobbled didn't swing it toward Roach. I don't know about that, but either way, now everyone's buzzing about an upcoming rematch. I mean, who wouldn't want to see these two go at it again? What's your take? Did Roach deserve the W, or was the draw fair? Drop your thoughts below and let's break down this fight.
Prominent commentator Joe Rogan didn't hold back in criticizing Gervonta Tank Davis for hesitating to commit to a rematch with Lamont Roach. Rogan dismissed Davis's excuse about having something in his eyes during the fight, calling it a weak and unconvincing reason. He stressed that fans deserve a clear and fair rematch, especially after such a controversial first bout. Rogan was also surprised the referee didn't count a key moment as a knockdown, specifically in the 9th round when Davis took a knee. That missed call has become a major talking point, and Rogan argued that boxing needs to protect its credibility by ensuring fairness and accountability in the ring.
That was trash.
Well, I thought it was a good fight. You didn't think
great fight, but I just champion guy taking a knee, talking about greasing his hair.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I'm like, yo, how you just in the middle of the fight just go wipe your face?
Also, here's the deal. If you take a knee, that's a knockdown.
That's a knockdown. Subtract 2, right?
You got hit with a jab.
Yeah.
You took a knee.
And then you walked off.
Exactly. That is a knockdown.
Yeah.
So I think they're reviewing that right now.
Nah, that guy lost maybe.
Well, I feel like if they do review it and they do judge it as a knockdown, which it was clearly a knockdown to everybody, you take a knee, that's a knockdown. I think they will probably give it to Lamont.
This is a very interesting rule. They have a power slap that kind of talks about what you guys were just discussing.
Some analysts believe Lamont Roach would have a real edge in a rematch, pointing to how well he performed in the first fight. They think he could take advantage of the flaws he spotted in GervontaDavis' strategy and use them to shift the fight in his favor.
GervontaDavis versus Lamont Roach is staying as a draw, which is bullshit because GervontaDavis obviously took a knee and it should have been counted as a knockdown, but it wasn't. But this just means that Lamont Roach is going to take GervontaDavis in the rematch, unless GervontaDavis ducks the rematch with Lamont Roach because he knows he's going to get his ass whooped once again.
If I get touched, I'm coming on that ass.
Davis's trainer recognized Roach's skill and said their original strategy was solid and well prepared. He mentioned that only small adjustments would be needed for the rematch, showing confidence in their overall game plan from the first fight.
What do you think the biggest surprise was in the fight? It wasn't a surprise because we know Roach. It wasn't a surprise. Roach can fight. A lot of people think because a person is not popular, they don't exist. There's fighters out there that can rumble. They just got to get the opportunity, you know?
Speaking of rematches, Jalil Hackett is getting his opportunity again to fight the guy that he had a controversial loss to. It'll be happening in Florida, I think, next week?
March 15th, I think.
Let's talk about
I'm rocking a major shirt now.
Major.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, how's that rematch look like, and then what's the difference makers coming into this fight?
The first fight, I thought, everybody thought Jalil won. We just got to turn, hit the gears a little harder. We ain't really got to change too much. Just got to put the icing on the cake, Put the icing on the cake this time, that's all. He did enough to win the last fight, but we was in somebody else's territory,
This time around, being in Florida, do you feel like it's a mutual zone?
Yeah. It's more of an even playing field in Florida.
Okay. Do you feel like he needs a stoppage to win the fight due to what happened the first time?
Not necessarily. A stoppage is good, but not necessarily.
That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more next time.